Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mackie and welcome to what the PowerPoint presentation says. Welcome to, and it's finally time, Smash or Pass, my 2024 reads version, because I read 125 books in 2024. I never gave you a single wrap-up video for it, so this is my method of making up for it. We're going to rank them Smash, Pass or simply No on the basis of the PowerPoint presentation. Let's just directly get into it because I've been waiting for so long and it's about time this video came out. A couple of things I want to address really quick before we start. I read 125 books because reading is my hobby and that's basically the only thing I do in my free time. So keep that in mind. It's not a competition or anything. I read for fun and that's just a number. I didn't find so many good books, as we can tell from the video and what happens next. And I wish there were better ones, but I'm happy for you regardless whatever number you read. And take all of my opinions in this video with a grain of salt because there are certain books I get very controversial with. Some that I don't like that are really popular and some that I like that aren't very well loved. So regardless of anything, again, I'm so happy for you if you found a book that I don't like, and I'm so happy for myself if I found a book that you didn't like. It doesn't really matter. It's not that serious. It's just a fun game. So I'm not trying to hurt anyone's opinions or hurt anyone's feelings with it. Let's just start with it because I just want to talk about these books. 90% of the books I will be speaking about in this video are featured in some of the other reading vlog. If you want to have in-depth thoughts on it, because this is all going to be rapid fire, then I'll have book titles in the video description of every single video, so you can just go through the backlist I have on my channel and then click on a video. If it's got the book in the description name, I'll be speaking about it in that video, and then you'll get final thoughts on it. But for now, really quick, we have The Kingdom of Sweets. This is like a Nutcracker retelling. Hard pass, bordering on no, because I was confused the entire time. What was the point of it? 300 pages of me just wondering what the hell I just read and why was it even written. Weather Girl. First half, the romance was romancing. Second half, I was bored as shit because it just got so boring, alright? Once they got together, it was just so cool and vanilla and fine, but I didn't really care. I wanted, more drama. Don't know what that says about me as a person. Pass. All I Want for Christmas. This book would have been a smash if it hadn't been for the last minute plot twist. The last minute plot twist kind of spoiled everything for me. Honestly, this is a pass bordering on no, because why did I read such a big book? It wasn't even that big. It was only a couple hundred pages to get to that plot twist that kind of came out of left field, and I was just wondering why it was there in the first place. Mysterious Affair at Styles by Agatha Christie. Smash. This is one of the best books I've read by her. Honestly, the ending really got me. If you haven't read it, what are you doing? Go pick it up. Crazy stuff. The Rom-Com Agenda. You want to read a book about a man who is still pining after his ex even though he's supposed to be going after the new girl in the book because she's the love interest, not the ex? Yeah, sign yourself up. No, absolutely not. A Christmas Carol. You want to cry? Yeah. Smash. I loved it. I don't know why I was crying because it's supposed to be a classic, and there's no rule against you crying in classics, but for me, in my head, I don't really see myself crying to a classic, so I felt really smart when I did that, firstly, and secondly, I couldn't read anything for the next week without, being sad over it. So if you want to read it, you can. Smash. Hooked on a Feeling. This is just your basic rom-com palate cleanser book, except I was reading too many palate cleansers at the time, so it didn't hit me as hard as it probably should have if I, wasn't reading so many at the time. So again, if you're reading high fantasy or something, definitely try this in the middle so you can get that brain break you want. There are cute scenes in this, but then I don't remember much because it's been a while since I read it, and it's just every single fluffy rom-com I read on a daily basis, so it's nothing, great that stands out to me, so I'm just gonna say pass. This is the first time I read a Nicholas Sparks book. It's True Believer. This book is the definition of woman written by man. Yeah, absolutely not. What was the point of it, honestly? And I didn't like the descriptions of her in it either. Yeah, I hated it. If I could go back and wipe my memory for a book, it would be this one because I genuinely don't like it, and whenever I speak about it, it's always a hate rant. The Stranger Upstairs. You want something that'll keep you on the edge of your seat the entire time, and then the plot twist lets you down in the worst way possible. That was me. I will say 95% of this book, I was cramming to kind of read the next thing that happens and, find out what happened, what went down, because it's a mystery thriller. You're trying to see, what's happening really. You're trying to figure out the plot twist, and then the plot twist didn't really plot twist for me because it was so out of left field. Why do mystery thriller authors do that? I will never know. But yeah, no. this one's like a pass bordering on no for me, because the plot twist really let me down, and I rank my mystery thrillers on the basis of how the plot twist got me. This one didn't, so I was just indifferent. Alright, so we're just gonna pass on this one. A Coat of Thorns and Roses. Give me 1 minute to introduce you to my latest hyperfixation. For the past year at this point, haven't been able to stop thinking about these people. They're fey, they don't exist. Do I care? No. This is a hard smash. If you haven't read this, what are you doing? Please go read this. This is the best thing I read probably all of last year. That's it. Yeah, smash. Night Shift. It's like a Wattpad, I think, published book, so it goes by fast and it feels very Wattpad-y, and I was reading this at 3 a.m. on a school night, so it gave me all the fun butterfly feelings it had to. It kind of did its job. I had a good time, but I hardly remember anything from it. All I remember is that the main girl in this is a book girly like all of us, so because of that reason only, not accounting for how spicy this was, because I don't like that kind of stuff, this is like a pass from me, because she's a book girly and she's just like us. And yeah, that's it. I related to too much of this, more than I should have. Pass. Elsewhere by Gabrielle Zevin. Give me a second to introduce you to another book that had me crying, sobbing, literally wanting to throw up, and then be sad about it for the rest of the week. If you want to be traumatized and if you want to be sad, read this book. This is a smash from me. If I reread it, it's gonna be 5 stars. It's so sad and it's so funny at some points, and it's just everything. She knows how to rip your heart out and stomp on it, and she does a good job of it. And at the end of it, I was thanking her for doing that to me. So you wanna be on an emotional roller coaster? Read this book. Smash. I hope this doesn't find you. I really hope this doesn't find you either, because let's be real, their romance in it just wasn't it for me. I don't know if my brain is broken or something, because most of Goodreads loves this book. I wasn't in that crowd, unfortunately, because I hated it. I feel like there was no romance between them, and when it came, it was out of nowhere. I didn't enjoy it. Pass bordering on no. The Do-Over by Lynn Painter. I know Valentine's is gone, but this has one of my favorite book tropes. It's called Groundhog's Day, wherein the day repeats and it takes place on Valentine's. Read it regardless. Read it for the hopeless romantics. Read it if you're a Taylor Swift fan and you want Taylor Swift references. For me, this is a smash. Everyone I know has read it at this point. My sister, my best friend, my book club, my cousin. Yeah, that's all. Smash. Blindside, another book wherein the man is still hung up about his ex and he's trying not to let it show, but then it keeps happening, and every time it happens you're just like, are we supposed to be rooting for this guy with the girl, or are we just supposed to walk away now while we can? Because that's like a red forest in my opinion. So no, pass bordering on no. The Two of Us. You want like an emotional, slightly traumatic romance, and if you want a good cry, pick this book up for that reason alone. Again, I feel like the reason it has you crying was a little out of left field, but at the same time I did end up crying, so I'm not one to judge. I'll be hypocritical if I do. So this is a pass from me, bordering on smash, because it's very forgettable. I hardly remember anything. I just remember why I cried. So I think that's more than enough reason if you want to. The Good Part. You know that trending sound, let's skip to the good part or something like that? That's basically the premise of this book. She wants to skip to the good part of her life, and one day she wakes up and she has a husband and kids and she's just wondering what the hell happened. Yeah, smash. I loved every second. I can't wait to reread this one day and give it 5 stars, because at some other point in my life I'll definitely give it 5. At the moment I read it, maybe I wasn't mature enough to, but looking back on it now, this is one of my favorite reads from the year. You want to read a sad college story. That's all it is. It's not a love story or anything like that. It's just maybe like a too realistic depiction of like 2007 college life. Read Tell Me Lies if you want to. Then I've heard the show is better than the book, so again, keep that in mind if you want to, I guess. I don't really know. For me, this was a pass. I hardly remember it. I do know the first half was boring as hell, and the second half was the dramatic stuff which I was really there for, and I ate it up. So I'm really confused and like on different ends of the spectrum on this one, but I'm just gonna say pass and we'll move on. The Gift by Frida McFadden. This is the first one I've ever read by her. At this point, the next book I read by her is gonna be my 10th one. That already shows where the obsession kick-started, but this one specifically wasn't it for me. It was like a Christmas novella. It was maybe 50 pages long, but the plot twist didn't, plot twist again. It wasn't that fun, so I'm just gonna say pass. The X Talk. Just like this author's other book that was at the beginning of the presentation, the romance was really good until they got together, and once they got together, it really fell flat for me because I didn't care anymore. Don't know what that really says about me as a person. I need to go look it up or whatever, but this book, if you want good tension for the first half and then after that it goes down, that's what it was for me. It's just a good old rom-com if you want it again. But the jokes in this were more funny than the first one I read by her, so this is a pass. But it could have been better. The Chemistry of Love. You want a book on the opposite end of the spectrum from the previous one, wherein they don't get together until like 90-95%. There's pining, there's tension, there's yearning the entire time. This is your book. I haven't stopped thinking about certain scenes. They're geeking out in it, they're nerding out in it. It's so funny, and also it goes so deep. The premise is really cool and I love the main guy. I honestly love so much about this. This is a smash. This is a blind smash from me. The last time I spoke about this book in a video, I said I was gonna go call for my physical copy. I forgot yet again. So this is me trying to catalog in my mind that as soon as I'm done recording this video, I'll go buy myself a physical. But yeah, this is such a smash, honestly. If you want to be giggling the entire time and be happy, read this. It's a smash. In 5 years. This, on the other hand, made me wonder why I was reading in the first place, and made me again want to wipe my memory out. If there's anything I could go tell my past self from like a year ago, I would tell her not to read this book, and I would also tell her not to continue reading this author's backlist, because this is one trope that comes up in this book that's an absolute no for me. So absolutely freaking not. You want to read it, you can go read it. I'm in the minority here, wherein I absolutely hate this with every fiber of my being, so absolutely freaking not. What happened to the Bennets? First half, 200 pages, all grief. Second half, crazy mystery thriller, your favorite action movie. If you want something like that, it's good, but you have to soldier your way through it. You have to, bear with the first 50% of the book for it to actually get good. So keep that in your mind. Do with that what you will. If you want to read it, you can. For me, this was a pass. It would have been a smash if the grieving part wasn't at the beginning, because I came for the thriller. I didn't come to grieve. And so it's fine, I guess. It's a pass from me. But again, read it if you want to. How I'll Kill You. This author gives very interesting tips in this book that, kind of work as like a handbook or whatever, a guideline. So if you want to read it, you can, because I support women's wrongs, and if you're a woman on my channel, I will support you. But here's the thing. I don't really want to know where she got her methods from and where she actually, knows all these hacks from. I don't want to know where it came from. So it was a good book for that reason. And it also went really crazy and good. But I really just don't know where she got her information from. So it's a pass. There was one plot twist in this book, and I guessed it. The rest of it was so boring. I fell asleep multiple times while reading this, and my Kindle battery drained out on me. Absolutely not. Here's me coming in clutch with my reading children's books era. Even though I'm not a child, you can tell that this doesn't really appeal to my age range, but I'm reading it regardless. I'm just gonna say pass and move on because it's a children's classic. It's not really meant for me, but I had a good time regardless, so pass. How to Love Your Neighbor. Here's the thing. How to remember books and not forget the premise, because at this point I'm blanking. Read so many rom-coms, I don't remember exact details, but I do remember I was feeling giddy at certain bits. But then again, does that really count in the long run, because I don't remember much from it? I don't really know. It was good enough in the moment, I suppose, so it's a pass. This book, on the other hand, I didn't give it 5 stars. It's a mystery thriller for context. But here's the thing. I remember certain scenes and certain plot twists from it on a daily basis, which is kind of interesting because I don't really do that for most of my mystery thrillers. So if you want to read it, you can. For me, it's a smash because the ending really got me. It went really crazy. I didn't see that coming, and it was good. Again, this is yet another book that I don't remember half the stuff from, but while I was reading it, I do remember, questioning a couple things in the plotline, because I did find a couple loopholes that now in the moment I don't remember. So again, it wasn't memorable enough. I'm gonna say pass, bordering on no. Bonus points for the cover though, because it's really cute. Another book, if you want to check triggers before you read this, definitely do that. But here's the thing, I don't remember much from it, and the topics that were handled in this, there's another book I read later in the year called Pretty Girls. I think that handled it better. So if you want to read something like that, you've got your recommendations, but I personally would not, want to read this again or recommend it, because it's just got stuff that I don't want to talk about or want to read about. So pass. Everyone's gonna hate me when I say this. Pass. I'm so sorry. I really wanted to love this book. I really tried, but it just felt like the basic rom-com. It just felt like a palate cleanser to me. I don't remember much, and maybe that's for a good reason, because I really need to have brain space for the books I actually like, and so this is a pass. Now this one, on the other hand, I remember certain scenes. Again, I read this during summertime. I love Violet and Will and the romance between them because it's childhood friends to lovers, second chance. Those are my favorite tropes. They will get me every single time. I don't even care. I love it. The cover's cute. The people in this, they're really nice. I feel like, again, if you want to check triggers, you definitely can do that, because there's something that happens in this that I did guess. But at the same time, I don't really care. I had a good time anyway. And listen, it was great. So I'm just going to say smash. I read all of these books in the same month, and can I just say, this was the best reading month of my life simply because I read this book in that month. I have reread it at this point. I read this in May of last year, and now again like a couple of weeks ago for like a different video that probably goes out tonight actually, I think. So can I just say smash? Liam and Anna, smash. Oh my god, everything smash. Should I just say it again? Smash. I love Christina Lauren. I loved this book. This is one of my top reads of last year. Reading it right now, it was 5 stars for me. Smash. You want a good romance book that makes you laugh but also makes you feel things? This one, smash. This was sent to me as an audio copy. I don't know what I did to deserve the arc of it, but like I got it regardless. I have gone ahead and bought my own physical as a trophy on my shelves at this point. You want a really smart female serial killer who is actually a little psycho, but like she's also really smart. Yeah, I support women's wrongs. Can you kind of tell from this video? I hope you can. Anyway, this is a smash, whatever. I loved it. The plot twist on the last page really got me. Smash. I have tried rereading this on several occasions because something got messed up with my order. If you want the story behind all of this, definitely go check the other 6 videos that this book is probably featured in. But yeah, this is like a pass from me. It would have been a smash if Amazon didn't really mess up my order and I would have gotten it faster. But yeah, regardless, it was a good book. It's a pass for right now, but if I ever reread it down the line, probably won't happen. But if I do, it's a smash. This book on the other hand, this is a smash instantly. Again, a mystery thriller that I think about on a very regular basis, more than you'd expect, even though it's not 5 stars, but it's a smash because it was so crazy and the epilogue is in the perspective of the murderer. Stop. And it's got the vacation gone wrong trope. Like, that's all you need, honestly. This is the book for the summer. Yes, smash. This is me trying again with the in 5 years author's backlist. It had the same trope. Why do I try? Why don't I just give up? No, I wish I could rub my brain out and I wish I could bleach my eyes after having finished this. Yeah, no, I'm so sorry. That one stupid trope in it. I'm sorry if you like this book because I didn't. Absolutely freaking not. That trope continues. The rest of the month really went to shit. I feel like the first half of May was incredible for me. The second half in terms of reading was just not, because this book has the same trope as the previous book and the one I was speaking about in 5 years. Why is that one trope simply written about? Just tell me that, because I hate it. I feel like as a majority of readers, no one really likes it. So why is it even written about in the first place? And why was it in this book? Every second of it was ruined for me because of that. I was forcing myself to finish. It's an absolutely not from me. Again, don't know what I did to deserve it. I actually got sent the arc of this and I watched Mr. Berlin on YouTube. Obsessed with his channel. If you want something that feels very much like his video format, except in graphic novel format, yes, smash. I ate this up. It didn't even feel like a book. At some points I felt like I was in the story, which is what his storytelling does for me anyway. So great book, smash. This book, there's so much I remember about it. The summer aspect, the friendship, the romance, the love, the YA-ness. This is a good example of published Wattpad can still be good despite the fact that it is Wattpad, and I loved it. I still think about this to this day, and I think this year I will be rereading it during summertime because there's so many good scenes in it and there's so much that makes me giddy from this book that yes, smash. At the time of me reading this, I was obsessed with the legal drama. I think it's called How to Get Away with Murder, which is why I wanted a legal, I guess, thriller or whatever. And it's good. The ending, it kind of got me, but I feel like it was out of left field. Didn't really see that coming. And it doesn't really make sense either. So again, here's to another author throwing in a plot twist for shock value rather than for logic sense value. So it was good for that reason, and if you really want to be shook, you can read it, but for me it was a pass. This would have been a smash had it not been for one trope thrown at the end. It's not the same trope as the one I was discussing a few books ago. It's something else that happens and it just didn't need to happen. So why did it happen? Pass. No one can know. Here's the thing, I don't know. I don't even remember half the stuff, but I do remember the plot was really letting me down. But also the whole book is really slow in comparison anyway, so I didn't have much to look forward to anyway. It didn't really live up to my expectations or the hype I was seeing, so this is a pass from me. This book, on the other hand, is the biggest smash in the world. I'm actually contemplating going ahead and getting myself a physical copy. If my cousin is watching this video, please click out because you don't need to hear what happens next. I want to go ahead and annotate this whole thing and kind of gift it to her so she goes ahead and reads it because it was that freaking good, and I want to look back on it and see all the plot twists in it because it was that amazing. Honestly, this is one of the best thrillers I've read in my life, and this is the blueprint of what thriller authors should kind of read before they write their own because it's so crazy, it's so good. The timelines are a little over the place, but I loved it regardless, and when it all clicked into place, my jaw was on the ground. This is just the thriller book. If someone asks me for a thriller recommendation, this is what I'm going to tell you to read because it was that good. And again, a really strong, a really, smart female main character who also kind of goes into wrong, so I would support her regardless. But yeah, smash. This is a romance where the first half was great, the second half was not. Until they weren't together, it was good because I loved the pining in it. But once they got together, it lost its interest for me. So unfortunately, this is a pass, even though I know a lot of people love it. And if you want to read it, again, go ahead. But then again, I feel like this is like a common consensus for most rom-coms for me these days. The first half is great, the second half is really not. So I should look into what's wrong with me because this is a pass. When you figure out why this book is called Not Without Me, and when you understand the meaning of the title in the book, you will want to throw up. This is an absolutely not. I didn't like it. I don't even know why I read it. Check triggers if you want to read it. No, absolutely not. How to end a love story. She falls in love with the man who kind of, got her sister killed even though it was an accident. Yeah, no, absolutely not. This is supposed to be like a mystery room kind of thriller and I don't remember much from it, so I'm just gonna say pass and move on because again, I don't think it was for my age range, but it was sent to me and I wanted to read it regardless, so pass. This book, it was nearly a 5 stars for me. Keep in mind at this point, I didn't find a single 5-star read out of all of the previous books in the year. I actually found my first 5-star of the year in July. So at this point, I was really just pining for a 5-star, and this would have been had it not been for that one trope coming back again to slap me in the face. This is a pass bordering on smash because it's very close to it. I loved the geeking out and the fangirling over random stuff and like everything about it. She's a book girly. There's so much about it that was great except that one trope. So it was a very close 5-star read, it just wasn't. And keep in mind at this point, The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren, the one I mentioned a few books ago, was like 4.75 for me, not 5. So I was really just hoping for a 5 and I was looking for a 5 in this one, and it would have been had it not been for the trope. So I'm gonna say pass bordering on smash. The French Girl. I don't remember anything. I don't know if that's like a French problem or what, but I just don't. And I remember there was like a romance thrown in there out of nowhere, so pass. No. Me coming in clutch with my children's books era? Smash. Honestly, if you want to pick this up, whatever age range you are, pick it up. It was a good old time. I finished it in half an hour. That's probably criminal because I had such a great time reading it, and yeah, smash. This was my first 5-star read of 2024. I found it, I think, towards the beginning of July or towards like the middle part, and I don't really have a vlog on this. I wish I did. I was reading it during the time I went for my cousin's wedding. So, there was a wedding going on in the background, and here's me crying to the last 200 pages of this book. So if you want to read it, obviously go get yourself like a box of tissues because even that one box won't be enough. But yeah, you want to be a little traumatized and sad after you read it for the rest of the time. Yes, it's a smash from me, 5 stars for a good reason. I have the physical copy on my shelf. I don't know if I'll ever reread it because I don't want that trauma again, but also it was a great book and I loved it. This is what I read right after the previous book to kind of recover. I just wanted a good old happy rom-com. This did its job. I gave it 5 stars. Alright, I found 2 5 stars back to back because the book gods were finally blessing me with a couple 5 stars despite the fact that I didn't find any for the whole year. And this is really making up for it. He has his own coffee blend, Milo, the love interest from this book, the main guy. That's how I market it to people. Again, if you want to read it, you can. This is a smash from me. I loved so much about it and I can't wait to reread this one day because the happy giddy vibes it gave me, unmatched. Can't compare. I loved it. I feel like Second Chance Summer really broke my sadness receptors because this is supposed to be a really sad book and I almost cried to it. It's just there were some bits wherein I was just so done with the book I had checked out mentally, so it didn't hit me as hard as it hits other people. And maybe I'll reread it at some point, but if you want to read it, check triggers. It just wasn't the book for me. I'm gonna say pass and we'll move on. Again, another book you should check triggers on. This was marketed to me as mystery thriller, but it's actually a domestic drama. So that's why I didn't really enjoy it and I was bored for a majority of it because I thought there would be more like plot twists and stuff. But yeah, pass. You wanna giggle, you wanna cry your heart out, you wanna be happy, and you wanna just laugh at the most hilarious jokes and swoon over the best book boyfriend like ever. This book. It was so good. I loved how strong the female main character in this was. I loved how the main love interest was like the perfect guy, honestly, and I can't wait to reread this one day because it's one of my favorite rom-coms I have ever read in my lifetime. I loved every second. Absolute freaking smash. This is another Frida book I read because I was trying her books out again, and I'm so happy I did because I didn't get the plot twist at the end of it. I read so much of it and I was bored for a majority because it felt so slow, but when the plot twist hit me in the face, I never saw that coming, and now I love her psychological thrillers for the way they throw shade on everyone, except it's it turns out to be the one person you didn't guess. I liked it. I'm gonna say pass bordering on smash just because it was a little slow for me. I'm so confused if this is a different book I've read, and I can't really go check Goodreads reviews right now because I'm in the middle of recording. So I'll put it up on screen in the form of text or whatever. But like, regardless, if I'm confusing this with a different thriller, that just means to say it's not really that memorable. And I do remember, if this is the one I think it was, the ending was kind of cliched and cheesy, and it was fine in the moment I felt it, but right now, thinking back, it was a no for me. So I'm gonna say pass bordering on no. Nora goes off script. I reread it actually for like a video. I think that same video actually goes out tonight, I'm not too sure. And you can go watch my reactions in that one, but it was a 5-star rereading it around. I think the first time it was like a 4.5, and now reading it again, I felt everything for good reason. And it's a good book if you want to feel the whole roster of emotions, and if you just want to feel human and alive. Yeah, smash. I love Leo Vance and I love Nora Hamilton, if you can't already tell. I don't want to fangirl right now, but I want to fangirl right now. Yeah, smash. Shipped. Again, another rom-com. First half was great, second half was not. If you've got any recommendations to kind of combat that problem I deal with, the comments are open for you. Please go ahead and leave those for me. But yeah, this is a pass because I don't remember much. But the pining in the beginning was good and it was a little funny. Don't know what I did to deserve this. I got the arc. I feel like it was a slow build-up, but the ending really got me. It's a pass from me. I had a good time. Children's book era incoming, smash. A lot of people don't like this book for good reason, but at this point I've gone ahead and read the second book in the series as well. And at the time of me reading it, this was like me trying to get into fantasy again because I was trying to switch up genres. So it was new to me and I enjoyed it despite how slow it was and how nothing really felt like it was happening. But reading the second book now, that hit me so much harder. And if you've read this book and if you don't like it, still just try out the second one because it was worth it. Just so you can make it to the second one, I'm gonna say pass on this one. But the second one is really good. The Widow's Husband's Secret Lie. That's a huge title. I remember this was supposed to be like satire or whatever, but I didn't know that in the moment. So I was waiting for the plot twist to come in. I was reading this in like a 24-hour readathon, and when there was no plot twist, essentially it was just funny. I was confused, which is why I'm gonna say pass. But again, it was really funny, and then there was like one last thing that happened at the end that was good enough, so pass. This one on the other hand, absolute smash. There's so much about it I love. If you want reverse age gap trope, and it's actually done correct and nice, and it makes you giggle, and there's like a lot of innuendo in this book, it was so good. I loved it, and I can't wait to read more of this author's backlist because it was amazing. I really like it, okay? I think back on certain scenes, even though I probably shouldn't, and I hyperfixate on them, so it was good enough for me. Smash. You Will Be Mine. What is it with thriller authors that they just dump in the most random plot twists for shock value rather than for logic value, like I said previously? I don't see why that plot twist was thrown in there, apart from the fact that she really just wanted to shock you, because there was no build up to it, there was no point to it, and I'm gonna say pass, bordering on no. Rewrite her story. If I could go back and hug my past self at the time she was reading this for all the pain she endured just to get through this book, I probably would. I read for escapism, I don't read for stupidity. This was so immature, I hate it every second. I hate the main male character so much. The female main character, she needs to grow a spine and run away because that is a red forest in itself. I read it because it was a dedication. I wish I never did, and now I don't read books on the basis of dedications anymore because this book altered my brain chemistry in the worst way possible. Absolutely freaking not. Can I say it again? Absolutely freaking not. I read this because we read the actual William Shakespeare text of it in school and we've been analyzing it for a couple years, so I just wanted to read the retelling of it, and it was good, but I didn't really see the point because the main female character, Lady Macbeth, in the original book, she's such like a strong female main character despite the fact that it's William Shakespeare, and she was cunning, she was evil, she just wasn't in this book, so it's gonna be a pass. But I had a good time reading. The gothic vibes were really good in this book, I remember, so if you want to read it you can, but it was a pass from me. No, absolutely not. Please don't. No. This is me going back to Annabelle Monaghan's backlist, and there's one quote I remember from this: if you've loved someone your whole life, you'll probably love them forever, or something like that. But it was a 3-star for me because she was with her fiance the entire time. She was falling for the man she used to love when she was younger, and that's good, second chance childhood friends to lovers, but like, she was engaged the entire time, and so it felt a little like cheating even though nothing happened between them, and I just didn't enjoy that aspect. Otherwise it would have hit harder, it just didn't, so pass. Okay, this was the one I was confusing the previous thriller with. I think it was called This Lie Will Kill You. Yeah, this one, again, if I confuse it with a different book, it's not that memorable to me. And there's, another plot twist that comes in here out of nowhere. When it came, I was just like, wait, there was no build up for it, but anyway, it's a good book if you want to read it and if you want like something quick to get through, but is it really worth reading it? I don't want to be the judge of that. I'm just gonna say pass. For me, it wasn't it. The Devil Wears Black. Here's the thing, I hated the way the main male character treated the female main character, and I wanted this book to really be the first one I used to get into the whole LJ Shen vibe, because I know she's so hyped online, I know people love her books, and I didn't love this very much, but then also there are certain scenes I still remember because I find them really sweet, and the yearning in this was good, but then he never recognized her boundaries either. So my review of this right now is very bipolar. I'm gonna say pass, but also maybe I read a different book by her to see if it gets better. This one specifically, the romance in it would have romance if it hadn't been him, crossing her boundaries every time. So, pass. This is like a fictionalized recount of what Ted Bundy did, and don't quote me on this because I don't know for sure, but I saw in like a Goodreads review that apparently the author has used real victim names in this. I wasn't aware of that, or I wouldn't have supported in the first place. But again, don't quote me on it. I'm not too sure. You can probably go look it up. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend. I'm just gonna say no, because that is crossing a line already. I feel like we didn't need a fictionalized recount of Ted Bundy, let alone real victim names. That is mean and offensive to the families of those victims, so no. I'm sorry, I wouldn't have supported this if I would have known. No. Me trying out Nicholas Sparks again, me realizing why I don't like books written by men. No, I didn't like the way he spoke about the woman in this book. I didn't like certain descriptions. I didn't like that weird, horrible romance book trope coming in, the trope we've been speaking about this entire video. No, absolutely not. Wish I could wipe my mind clean. Honestly, if I would quit reading because of one book, it would be this book, so no. Highly suspicious and unfairly cute. The characters in this are literally my children. I just want them to be happy. So much about this had me giggling and crying in laughter, in little pain, because I wanted them to just be happy together. And the romance in this slays. It's YA, and I love the author so much. I can't wait to read more of her books because it's so witty and it's hilarious, and I loved it. Honestly, smash. Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. Before I tell you what I'm gonna rate this, it was a 5-star in the moment. Can I just say, I will never recommend this book on my channel. You're watching this video and you decide to pick up this book, you're doing it of your own will. I have not asked you in any way, shape or form to pick this book up, because if you are doing so, firstly check triggers, and secondly I never told you to read it, because it goes very deep. It's not really a thriller, it's more of like a family is grieving over a lost one and trying to figure out what happened, and then it goes into the thriller aspects, and it shows you the sad realities of life. For that reason alone, and I'm scared of men ever since I've read this book, it's 5 stars. It's a smash from me because anything less feels criminal, but I would never ask you to read it because this is not the kind of book I want to recommend to anyone. It's a little traumatic. It's very traumatic actually. Please don't. If you want to read it, again, please do. And also keep in mind, I'm not asking you to read it in any shape, way or form, but if you're a woman, I highly suggest and I would strongly, recommend that all the women in the world should read this, except I'm not asking you to read it. So that's very roundabout. Take with that what you will. Next book. The previous book broke me from feeling any emotions for the next month or so. So this was really sad, but it didn't hit me the way it should have because I was too broken over the moment over the previous book. So I'm just gonna say pass. Check triggers if you want to read this though, because yeah, here's me trying to attempt fantasy again, and this one is really good. If you want something for a beginner, and if you want something that's really fun in fantasy, like a beginner getting into fantasy, this was great and I really liked it. This is a smash from me. I loved it, except the random romance that was thrown in there at the end. Yeah, I really liked it. Do Not Fall in Love. Yet another rom-com that lets me down because the first half was great, the second half was not. We know the drill at this point. Pass. Ward D by Frida McFadden. Can I just say, this was the one and only time and the last time that I ever guessed a Frida book, the plot twist, and I felt so smart after doing it. I guessed it. So I'm just gonna say pass because she's still Frida. She still comes in clutch with her books, and I'm never gonna say anything lower than her pass for her books. But yeah, this was a pass because I guessed it. And I'm so smart for doing so. None Shall Sleep. This is like FBI, except it's like the kids trying to go and speak to serial killers on cold cases, trying to figure out why they did it. Already the premise is great. I loved reading the first one. In fact, I'm just remembering right now the third book in the series probably came out already, so I should probably go read it because I know it was coming out this month. I actually forgot. So again, cataloging this in my mind, I need to read the third book, but this was a pass. It was a good old time. I had fun. When You Were Everything. If you've lost a friend that was really close to you for whatever reason, honestly it can be anything, and then you want to feel sad and traumatized by it, go ahead and pick this book up. It feels like this author literally opened a window in the souls of our mind and wrote down all of my thoughts in one place, and it was a good book, but I didn't really want to go through that roster of emotions in the moment, so I'm going to say pass because I didn't want to be sad over losing friends. But yeah, Pass. It was really good though, the way certain topics were spoken about, and I enjoyed it. Some Shall Break. This is the next one, and None Shall Sleep. Again, this is a pass. I had a good time and I can't wait to read the next one. Dogman. Smash. Me coming in clutch with my childhood book recommendations or whatever. I was reading this because my sister read it. We both had a great time. Bestie book club reading. Yeah, please. Smash. Beach Read by Emily Henry. When I watch you sleep, I feel overwhelmed that you exist. Smash. It's disgusting how much I've, hyper fixated on this book ever since I finished it. Smash. I'm never going to read anything like this in the rest of my life, and I've already come to terms with the fact. So if you want something like that, smash. You Again. Picked it up for the cover because I'm just a girl and pretty covers are going to get me every single time. The book did not get me, unfortunately. I hated the main male character. I hated the female main character. They're so insufferable and annoying and they should just shut up. And I just hated it, alright. I saw this one review online wherein if beach read characters were insufferable, it would be this book, and I agree. So, no. Absolutely not. Juniper Hill. This is the continuation book for the Eden series, I think. So this is the second one in it. It follows the brother. And it's got, I think, single mom trope. And it was good. I really like certain moments between them. I did like this more than the usual rom-com. And so that's an improvement from the rest of the video. But it's still a pass from me. I will continue the series at some point though. Ninth House. Here's where I'm trying to get into fantasy now. Because that's like the most superior ultimate genre for me. I just don't read it enough. And I hate myself for not doing that enough. Because every time I read it, I just remember why I love it so much, and this reminded me of it. It took so long to get into the point of the book, and I was bored for majority, or I was confused, not understanding anything, because it follows secret societies and lore and backstory and conspiracy theories. But I loved it. The ending got me, and then for the rest of the week, all I really thought about was this book. I still think about it to this day. If you want to get into like a dark academia book, this is it for you. Smash from me. No. This was what was converted into Wardy and elaborated, was like 30 pages long, but no. The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea. This is what I would say a beginner in fantasy should read. Ninth House is not for any beginner, absolutely, and I was a beginner in the moment, which is why I was confused. This, on the other hand, has the perfect balance of romance and fantasy in it, and if you're a beginner getting into fantasy, would recommend this one because it was so easy to get through. It felt like a house-moving castle retelling. I loved it, honestly. Yeah, smash. Prison Healer. You read this book and you read the next book just to get to the third book. From me, the first one especially is a pass because it was boring, but the last thought twist really got me, and I was interested in a couple of things throughout. And listen, just to get to the third book, for me, it's a smash, the series. It's just this book was a little boring, but the plot twist really got me, so pass for now. A Million Junes. This is the first time and probably the only time Emily Henry will have ever let me down. Can't believe I'm saying that. I'm sorry, this book was more grieving than magical realism, which is what I was really there for, and so I'm gonna say pass. The Book of Doors. I don't think I've obsessed over a book as much as I've obsessed over this and begged everyone in my life to read it. I still don't have a physical, but I'm actually calling for one this week because I keep forgetting and I keep putting it off. That's how you know that I have the memory of a goldfish. But yeah, great premise, great story. It was a 5 stars from me, and now I can't wait for my own physical to come in the mail so we can speak about it in future vlogs, I guess. So yeah, smash. The Wicked Deep. There was one plot twist in it. I guessed it. No. Why did I guess it? I don't even know, but it was kind of obvious, so no. Children's book incoming. Smash. Every children's book I read is gonna be a smash from me because I just want to feel like a child again, and this is what these books help me do, so smash. This is the next one in the Prison Healer series. I feel like the ending of the Prison Healer one really had me picking this up ASAP for good reason because I really enjoyed this. You know what? This is a smash. Yup. I really liked it. If you haven't already read it, please go ahead and do so. The third book is so amazing. Smash. I never incorporated this into my Goodreads, so this is just random timing of me remembering that I finished Macbeth and I needed to log it in. So again, this is out of nowhere, but yeah, it's a pass because keep in mind I psychoanalyzed this in school for 2 years, and so I'm sick of doing that now, and naturally that's going to come with bad memories, so for now it just pass, whatever. What you're looking for is in the library. This has 5 short stories in it, but all of them hit me so hard and got me so productive, and honestly it shows you how a good book recommendation can change your life, which is the point of this channel, so smash from me. You Look Better as a Ghost. Female serial killer. I support women's wrongs. It was a good old fun time. It was a little outrageous, but it was good. Pass. Yellowface. If the ending hadn't done a certain thing, this would have been a smash, but for me it's a pass because the first half of it was 5-star material for me. It's just I lost kind of interest in it and I was checked out in the second half, so I'm gonna say pass. Now, if my best friend, by any off chance you're watching this video, she's the one who kind of asked me to read this series. It's called Romance 101. It's on Webtoon and it's like a graphic novel kind of series. I've read like a bunch of books in it, and it shows you the most healthy romance relationship, but it gets a little boring at some point. So I'm gonna say pass, but I'm having a good time reading, and I'm actually on the last volume as I'm recording this video, so pass. The second Romance 101 book, also pass. The Pumpkin Spice Cafe. In the moment I enjoyed it, but let's be real, the saving grace of this book was the fall vibes. Otherwise, the connection between the characters is very physical. The romance is very physical. It's insta-lovey. If you want to read it, you can. If you want to read it for the cute cover like I did, yeah, the autumnal vibes are great, but otherwise it's a maybe pass from me. But the series, again, I want to keep reading, so I don't really care. It's a pass. Praise. Here's me picking up the most random book I don't know shit about and then wondering why I picked it up in the first place. This was a pass. Pass bordering on no, because there were some parts of it where I was just like, what the hell is going on? But yeah, children's book alert, smash. Even though I didn't really enjoy this very much, it's still a smash because it's a children's book and I really want to watch the show that came out recently. This is the third Prison Healer book. This is what my entire life has led up to reading this book and then feeling heartbroken and devastated over the loss of never getting more of these characters again. So the author, she needs to write like something about this world because I would eat it up. I loved it. I don't know why I was crying at the end even though everything was happy. But yeah, smash from me. I loved this series. I know it's like an unpopular opinion, but I liked it like a lot and the plot twist in it really got me. The Perfect Son by Frida McFadden. Here's the thing. I guessed some bits of it, but at the same time it still got me, but then also I was really checked out while reading it. So again, this is like a very bipolar review wherein I don't know what I'm saying, so I'm just gonna say pass and we'll move on, because by the time the whole plot twist reveal came, I was very indifferent towards it, and so it's a pass. Hellbent. This doesn't have the appeal to me that Ninth House does, because this felt very boring and like a little pointless. So again, I'm gonna say pass. I didn't like it as much as Ninth House, but I will continue the series when the next book comes out. This was the first time I ever read Nutcracker, and for good reason. If I read this as a child, I would have been obsessed, I would have been addicted, but I didn't. I'm, not a child anymore. So I'm gonna say pass, but again, it was a really good one. And if you want to pick something up for the holiday season, in case you're watching this like December, Christmas time, this is the book. Christmas Tales. I love this author. She reminds me of comfort, nostalgia, childhood. Smash. This is the next book or the next volume in Romance 101. It's a pass. The Christmas Wish. This is basically like a Christmas backdrop for my favorite book trope ever, Groundhog's Day. I loved it. I loved how relatable it was, even though I wasn't in the age category of our main character and I didn't even struggle with like most of the problems she was going through. But yeah, it was a good book. I really liked the romance in it. Yeah, pass. Next, Romance 101 volume. This is also a pass from me. Milk and Honey. If you want to read like a poetry collection, because for some reason, this is like the first one I've ever read and I was in the mood to do so in that moment. It's good, but it feels like a bunch of Tumblr posts and it also feels like something your older sister would come and advise you about. Also, here's the thing, I am the older sister, I don't have anyone older than me to come give me advice, so it was a good book in the moment, but I don't know if I'd ever go back and read it again, so it's a pass for right now, but it was fine to read otherwise. My December Darling, this is just a novella. I actually buddy read it with my friend during Christmas time or whatever. Already the experience of doing that with her is so incredibly awesome because I keep remembering that sometimes and it's very nostalgic to me, which is why I really like this book. It's comforting to me, and also it's very acts of service coded, but we don't really go deep into other characters, we just go into our main character stories, which makes sense. It's a shorter book, but it was good for me. I'm gonna say pass, and the cover is really cute. Like, look at it, come on. I would have picked it up for the cover regardless anyway, but the perk I got from reading it was reading it along with my friend, which makes it even better, so yeah. Pass. Christmas Fix. This was going viral a couple years ago at this point, and for good reason at the moment. It's just me reading this book, it wasn't for me because it was very physical, the connection, and so I didn't like it, but yes, pass. Window Shopping. This book is so spicy for the length that it was. It's very short, it's like 200 something pages, but it was more spicy than you'd expect it to be, and it's not my cup of tea, so I'm gonna say pass bordering on no. But if you want to read it, you can, because the female main character in it is actually an ex-convict. She just gets out of jail for whatever reason, so that's interesting enough, but it's very spicy. The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. If Ethan Wyatt was a real man, I would be pining for him so bad. Hopefully one day I will marry a man like Ethan Wyatt because I love this. This author has also written a different book called The Blonde Identity, which was one of the first books I ever read when I got my Kindle. For good reason. I know people don't like that book very much. I loved it, and so I had to read this one by her, and her books hold such a special place in my heart because it's the best balance of romance and mystery, but at the same time you're getting like spy stuff, and she's really slaying out there. The author, love her so much. Can't wait to read more of her backlist. This is a smash. I hated the way he treated her and the fact that he neglected and abandoned his dog. I don't care how traumatized you are, you doing that to your dog. Straight to hell. No. Absolutely not. To the dog? No. Evidence of the Affair. I think I read this in like a couple sittings or something like that, and it's a novella, but I was so weirdly emotionally invested in it that when it got over, I wanted more, and I, felt like crying. So if you want like an 80-page something that kind of, wants to pull the tears out, this is the first thing I read by this author, and I can't wait to read more of her backlist. It was a smash from me. I don't even care that it's a novella. It's a smash. It was good enough. Yeah. No Exit by Taylor Adams. This book is proof that all books written by men aren't bad, because this, oh my god, smash. I was listening to it on audio on the way back home from like a certain like trip or whatever. I think there's like a vlog on it, and it was great. I loved listening to it. I loved every second. Crazy. Honestly, this is the kind of book wherein if something happens, you'll just be like, no way that's happening, because the plot is completely altered, and then it ends up happening and you're just like, what? And I loved it. Honestly, I can't wait to read more of this author's backlist because he knows what he's doing. This was amazing. Smash. Next, Romance 101 volume. This is again a pass from me, but the series as a whole is a smash because of how healthy it is. Cinnamon Bun Bookstore. This is the next one in the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Again, the connections in this are very physical, but this was quite the improvement from the previous book, and I was actually only reading this so I could get to the Christmas book in the series, even though Christmas had passed at that point. This is actually set in the summertime and I was reading it in December, so maybe it wasn't the right book for me in the moment, but I had a good time regardless. I'm gonna say pass, and that's it. We have reached the end of the slideshow. We've reached the end of my books of 2024, smash or pass, and so that's it for today's little vlog. Hopefully you guys had a fun time coming along with me speaking about books for like nearly an hour at this point. If you did, like, comment, share, subscribe. YouTube things. Again, don't get offended by my thoughts and opinions on the books. Take everything I say with a grain of salt. If you have taken recommendations from this video, let me know in the comments because I'd love to speak about them. And if you got similar thoughts or whatever, again, let me know in the comments. We can chat. But that's it. I'll see you guys hopefully very soon, and bye. I hope you have a great rest of your day.